Hey guys, welcome to Basic Training. What we're going to be going through today is some really simple principles that have taken Herbalife from a dream or an idea or I guess a vision to $7.1 billion in 95 countries. So they seem to work. And then we're going to go through some simple stuff that I do to set up my clients and tee that in with a little bit of product training as well, because we want to start bringing in some product training, especially into the basic training, so everyone's really informed on that. And then really just put the icing on the cake at our local training events. So Albury BTS, for example, or Melbourne, the SDS, or wherever you are, the SDS or the BTS or the whatever training things that you're going to. So firstly, guys, we have our major event coming up. It's like the Herbalife Grand Final, the big dance for Australia. We've got Dan Waldron, who's a multi-millionaire, as the guest speaker. We've got Dr. Dana Ryan, who's renowned amongst her peers as one of the best sports doctors on the planet. And some of her content's crazy. I've seen it. The guilty pleasures of being a president's team. You see all this stuff first. So that's where I want to be if I'm you and I'm new, because that's going to give you the full menu. That's going to give you everything. So if you're listening to this and you haven't got your ticket yet, you never waste a cent. And this is a good philosophy to have across the board, guys. You never waste a cent that's invested in your own personal development. And that's what Adelaide will be for you and your Herbalife success. And if you're saying, I don't have the money, that's why I can't go, then that's exactly why you should, because that's what my mentor told me 6 years ago. And it completely changed my life. Took me from making maybe $500 a week with Herbalife to about 10,000 a week. So there's a pretty big difference just from that one event, just from that philosophy change. You know, it's not your philosophy is like you said at the sale, and everyone has outside circumstances that happen to them. And external factors, but if you can set that philosophy, your success is inevitable, and the speed of which that will happen is your work ethic and your consistency and your ability to learn the lessons that are thrown at you. So I'd be getting there, but firstly, from a principles perspective, Herbalife's been built on three main principles, but as a Empire Squad, we like to chuck in the fourth one, which I just spoke about, which is the events. Everyone here is local to Albury, and we actually have Mike Dawes, apart from Meg, she's in Portugal, but she knows what's going on over there. Mike Dawes, millionaire team member, 7,500. That means he's doing about 150,000 US in retail turnover within these three levels a month. 150,000, I think I just said 150,000, which is crazy. You put that into perspective of the amount of people that's being helped with that. And he's coming in. He's actually, I called him and he's like, I'm thinking of driving to Adelaide. And he lives in the sunny coast. And I was like, do it. And then you can drive back through Albury and do the BTS as a joke. He goes, okay. So that's how that originated. So he's coming and it's going to be a fun time. I guess that's another good philosophy to have for success. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. Sometimes I jokingly ask and people say yes, and it's a surprise. So like with Mike, so that's on the 16th. So save the date. That's at the Mantra. There's an event floating around. If you want it, send me a message and I'll send it to you. And there's early bird tickets for that now. We're changing it up. It's going to be 30 at the door, 20 early bird, just so we can get a good gauge of numbers going in, so I can tell them for the seats. And that's about it on that. So that's the events, guys. But like your success will be determined by the amount of events and the amount of trainings like this and whatever you can get into so you can learn. So the more you expose yourself to the trainings, you might pick up this one thing that leads you to that one person that changes your life, right? And that's the way I always thought of it. That's why I always attended every single training thing that I could. Of course, you can't just train and not do. But, you know, compared to, I guess, the training load that we used to have at the start, which I attended everything, we've cut it right back. So it's more realistic to the average human being. And there's really one night a week, like one 45-minute session a week that we have consistently that for members, and then maybe an extra 45 for royalty workshop for you guys who qualify for that. That's like our leadership training program. That's for guys that want to go, make high six-figure incomes with this company. And we train people accordingly with that goal in mind. So that's the first step for a lot of you guys to get onto royalty workshop. Get back to your mentor about the qualifications for that. That's where the real action happens. And this is designed to get you to that. So the events are crucial is what I'm saying. And with Herbalife, there's always 3 styles of event. You have your big events, which is like Adelaide, which are the game changers. That's really a mind-blowing experience for everyone for about 1 billion different reasons. And, I don't know anyone who's had success in this company that doesn't go to those big events. Then we have our monthly events. So you got to lock yourself in. Rob Walsh said to me once, if you could be a millionaire and go to 12 days of training a year, would you do it? Me thinking they're 12 in a row. And I'm like, yeah, of course. He said, well, there's one a month. It's called the SDS or the BTS, and you just have to lock it in and have no excuses around that. So that's what I did. And then we've got weekly training calls like this just to really sharpen the sword, guys, and to really, really refine what we do and really help us go all the way, right? So that's why we do these calls for you. They're not for me. That's for sure. They're for you guys, and we get the leaders of our group to train, you on what they do because they're doing well, and we want to raise the bar consistently for everyone. And, if we keep trying to improve from a Herbalife perspective just a little bit every single week or every single day and try to do something a little bit better, and you learn how to do that via a free training system, I think that's a good thing. So long story short, tap into as many events as possible, but don't only just tap into it, guys. Write notes, take action steps, and apply shit. Because if you don't do that, then the whole thing is like you can learn, but you'll know shit, and then you won't actually change your PIN, which is the point. So make sure you act, and just learn and act so you can actually learn the lessons and then improve, right? So that's the events. I'm kind of doing this in reverse because I kind of opened with the event. Then we've got use, wear, talk. So using the products, obviously, massively. Shopping from your own shop. If there's a product in your house that could be Herbalife that isn't, I'd be giving it to someone I don't like, and restocking that stuff with Herbalife, because every single product that you have that you use gives you another story, it's like kind of having a bow and arrows. It just gives you another arrow that you can fire at people, and another testimonial, which is the real key, that you can share with someone, and then you can obviously help them with that product. So use the products massively, but really intentionally as well to gather leads. Like, we want to be intentionally walking around with our drink bottles. Like, you don't want to leave that at home when you go out. You want to take that out, and yeah, it can be a pain in the ass, especially the big 2-liter ones, and you've got other stuff, but you're putting that on the table. You're making an issue of this being, especially if you don't want to wear your badge, this being the issue. So you're doing it, obviously, you're going shopping and you dump, try not to break your drink bottle. We're dumping it everywhere, and we're making a point that you have that, and people are going to say, what is that? Because it's an unusual color. And then you're in a story where a situation where you can invite them into a place where they'll hear not only your testimonial, but other testimonials, which will do all the work for you. And that's how you build your business. It's literally that easy in Herbalife. Want to be wearing the brand, which is kind of the same thing, walking around with a drink bottle, wearing our badge, being branded as much as we can. We do a lot of team promos for that as well to make sure everyone's repping. But it's as simple as wearing your badge. Like, it goes with everything. So you can wear a suit and put your badge on. You can wear a singlet and put your badge on. Doesn't matter the brand. As long as, I guess, with the wear component, guys, just keep in mind that we represent everyone within the company, especially in small regional towns. So if we're wearing the brand, don't be an asshole. Like, be nice. If you feel like being an asshole, just don't wear anything. Just be an asshole under your own. It's kind of like.
So where should you wear the badge then?
Yeah, you shouldn't wear one. You made me lose my train of thought. This is why we mute everyone and we no. So this is why we wear the brand, because what happened when I first moved to town is I went and bought a fridge and I was wearing the hat and they were like, oh, we used to be on those products just from wearing a hat, and I made $200 from wearing a hat. So people always used to say, why do you wear Herbalife stuff, especially when I first started? And I said, well, why do you wear Nike stuff? And they said, well, I like it. And I said, well, this actually builds my business and makes me money. So how much are Nike paying you to actually wear that shirt? And they'd say nothing. And I said, well, you lose. So that's the wear component. That's why we do it. It's like a PR. It's like making people aware, even unconsciously, of what you're actually doing and drawing a conversation, which leads into the talk. What I would do if I was new is I'd be trying to invite one new person every single day into your chosen DMO, or you might be online challenges, what we mean by DMO, or your chosen tactic. So it might be like health scans, fit club, online challenges, trial packs, breakfast challenges, skin parties, your business launch. Probably not for a business launch. We'll kind of up the invites on that one. Like you pick whatever you enjoy, guys. That's the beauty of the business. You are your own boss. So with your mentor, work out what you actually enjoy and what you want to do, and then invite. Talking to people is great, but if you don't end that with an invitation, you're going to be flapping your gums for not much results. So make sure we're ending that with an invitation where we're putting them in front of some testimonials and sampling some products, which is exactly what we do at our fit clubs, right? People come in, have a tea, have a rebuild. That's not just because we do that. That's so people can sample the products. Yeah? They hear testimonials around the workouts, right? Because that's not just something we decided to do. That's intentional, so people hear testimonials, which in turn for you will remove objections from that person before they even have them. Like, does the product work? Well, you just heard 5 people that have lost weight and got energy, which is exactly what you want to do. So, I guess it would suggest that you would do the same thing if you use the products correctly. So that's what that's designed to do. So that's kind of use, wear, talk. Once again, if you're got probably everything apart from a business launch, I'd just be inviting everyone I knew if I was going to do that one personally, Facebook event, and really go mass action on that. But things like health scans and stuff, guys, if you guys are scared to talk to people, just build it up. And it's not hard, and it's not a copy and paste message. So the real simple algorithm I follow is called FORM, which is like, hey, how are you? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. General small talk, da-da-da. And then we talk about family, talk about occupation, talk about, what was the M1? Because I got that wrong last time. I thought it was marriage, but it was, what's the M in FORM? The R's recreation.
Marriage and partner, isn't it? Like,
that's what I thought it was, and then Butterworth told me it wasn't.
Well, that's what I've got written, and I legit just went back.
I trained you that.
All of, but I've just.
Oh, okay. So it's marriage. So we're just creating conversation, and then when we found out a bit, what I find is people will actually tell you the information you can actually use to solve their problems to invite them. If you're inviting in a place where you're saying, hey, you should come to the workout if you want to lose weight because there's all these people in and it's a great time and da-da-da-da-da, people are more likely to come than just saying, hey, how are you? Just started a business, come down to Fit Club type of thing. They're like, type of thing. But if you can solve their problem by inviting them into the situation, they're going to be a lot more likely to actually come into that. Cool. And if you guys have questions, please type them through and I'll answer them at the end. But we're going to show you how I start clients. We haven't done this in ages. There's videos all through Herbert Family, guys. And if you guys just want a crash course in Herbalife and me talking a whole bunch of crapola, go through the videos and you'll find all this stuff. Like, it hasn't changed. It's not an evolving thing. This is how I was set up personally, and this is how I personally set up clients. Even if they're not here locally, I'll call them and talk them through this. Because what I know is if people use the products correctly, they get a result. That result is the core of your business. Okay, more people getting results in your 1, 2, 3 levels, the more royalty you're making. Yeah, the more clients that are happy, the more reorders we get. And finding a client I'm sure everyone on this call that's been around longer than 6 months, sometimes finding clients, finding one a week is what I aim for, but retaining 75% of them is the key. Yeah, you'll never retain everyone, so don't expect to. People, shit happens, they lose their job and they, or they get a divorce, they just want to be fat. I don't know. Like, things happen. So you can't really account for that. But what you can account for is what you can control, which is your numbers of people that you're talking to, which will continually put people into the top of the funnel, which will continually have clients coming through for you. That's all you can control. Okay, but this is how I set them up when I get them. So, I'm going to go through and this applies for all the products, guys, but I'm going to go through a Glow Lean plus a shake and a cellulose and explain what they do as well from my perspective of what I've learned over the years in layman's terms, definitely not scientific, and exactly what I do with that product to set people up. Okay, so let's start with the Formula One. Number one meal replacement shake in the world. 101 calories, which was and very, very low GI, lower than brown rice actually, which means slow releasing energy, which means when people say it's full of, or suggest that it may be full of sugar to you, you can say, wow, and mention those facts to them, but don't argue with them, of course. This is the number one meal replacement shake in the world, and I'm talking by 28% to the nearest competitor, 33 to, when I sent in the honors last year, I'm pretty sure it was 33% of the world market, which is a third, and the nearest competitor was 4%. So, like, not even close, ballpark, like completely out of this world. And the reason why is it's just food. It's just food in another form. If someone says to you, can I use this product? Say, do you eat food? If they say yes, they can use it. If they say no, then they probably shouldn't because it's food. So that's all it is. Vanilla, berry, mint, chocolate, cookies and cream. They're the flavors it comes in. People say, should I have it with milk? I'd never suggest a client have it with milk, especially when they first start, because it can lead to a lot of tummy issues. Just as a tip, I'd always start them with water, and then if they feel like they have to have milk, then maybe make some suggestions. But this is what we do. This is what I do, and what I suggest you do. I grabbed the only pen that doesn't work in there. Someone go give me a pen. Okay, so usually I use a permanent marker, and it's black, and it's really obvious. And for everything apart from the aloe and the shake, I write it on the lid because then they can swap the lid over, and I don't have to write it on every one. All right, so this is when I'm setting them up. So, of course, I take their centimeters. Always get a before pic, even if they don't want to send it to you. Make them just keep it and save it, because my biggest regret in Herbalife is not taking one. And how else do we set them up? I always generally, guys, and this is just a me thing, I set them up on a promo kit, especially if they're off distance, so they get a tape measure so they can do their centimeters. I'll always do a scan if they're local, just because I like it and lets me sit down with them. I might do a video next week on how I do scans. And the other reason why I like a promo kit is they have the scoop. So when I say scoop, they know what a scoop is. And I have a shaker, which comes in handy if they're going to be out and about. And there's less excuses because they can just put shake in that and take it to lunch. But what I also, it's called the promotion kit, isn't it?
Starter kit.
Oh, it's called a starter kit. But it's also got a little product catalog. And I always say to them, don't read it. And then what they do, they always read it. If I say read it, they don't read it. So I decided to say don't read it for a little while, and it seemed to work. And then they're like, what's the cellulose if I haven't told them about it? And I'm like, I told you not to read it, but I'll tell you. Make that the only instruction of mine you don't follow. So we go 2 scoops. This is for weight loss. 2 times per day. No milk. I literally write it on it like that. It's all over it. You can't stuff it up. That's the point. They can't stuff it up. Give people a chance to stuff it up, they stuff it up. But if you put it like that, they won't stuff it up. Or sorry, usually I write no cow's milk. Because if they want to use soy and stuff, it's still not going to hurt their stomach unless they're soy intolerant, which they know, so they wouldn't be drinking soy. Or generally they know. Okay? So that's how I set someone up on a shake. It's ugly. It's in their face. They do it 3 or 4 times in a row. Can't stuff it up. I know it says on the label, have it with cow's milk. That's just a legal law in Australia. If someone wants to have it with cow's milk, they can. It just ups everything. And I find that like 80% of my clients have tummy issues to milk. It's like they've gone from having a splash in their coffee to having half a litre a day, and it really upsets their stomach, right? And they think it's the shake. But it's not. It's the milk. Okay. So on a tea, I just tell them to smash it. I actually write smash it on the top. Yeah, put it in your cold water. Have one hot in the morning. All the kind of tips and tricks around it. You know, if you have these two together, it's a frozen Coke. Life hack. That's changed my life. Who found that out? I'm going to send them flowers. So just smash it on that one. Okay. And also tell them not to add milk and sugar to it. That's happened. It's happened a few times, actually.
Really?
Yeah, weirdos.
Something Tash Gillian would do.
Yeah, it is something Trashy Tashy would do. She's laughing.
Yeah.
She's in the toilet paper. Oh, she's been having her shake with milk. So the other thing I write on here is, so this is the yellow, right? All right, 3 caps. And this is, if they're on a Glow Lean, you obviously write the Glow Lean instructions on there, which isn't too hard. 2 caps per litre. 2 caps per litre is what I write. But if they're not, I go 3 caps, first thing and last thing. So how they have that, and I'll explain that. First thing in the morning, I'd have it with like a big water, because it'll flush all the toxins out of your body after sleep. Like you'll hear people that have lemon or whatever for the same thing. People do that, right?
No.
Adrian is not there. But what we do as Herbalife members, it says this because it's actually an alkaline. So what that means is it knocks all the acid out of your system and puts your body at a good pH, which makes you feel good about life. But it also gets some fluid in the morning. So first thing I do is have a big thing of aloe every single morning. I have done for like 5 years. And then last thing, so obviously you don't want to have half a litre before you go to bed. So I put 3 caps, or even a swig. Or if it's me, it's like I have a chug, but for a client, they don't want to use a bottle of aloe a day. Last thing, I'll just tell them to have a little one, even in a shot glass or like a little whiskey glass or just a little cup, and just have it straight. If it's Mandarin, or just water it down a little bit and just chug it in. Reason being is when you're asleep, that's when your digestive system is most active, but also most exposed, because most of us sleep like this. If you ever woke up with morning breath, the reason is because of your digestive system doing its thing, but also being empty. So it's the best time to get it in there, your aloe vera. Well, the most effective. You get the most bang for your buck. Active fiber. Generally, it depends how I've discussed it with the client of how they should take it. Like if I've gone through something like having the apple pie shake to get it in, or if it's Glow Lean, I write that on there. So it just kind of depends on how they take it. But I also write it on here as well. Or if I've got a black permanent marker, I just write it on the lid, because then what they can do is take this one off, throw that lid out with this, and then put that on the other lid, and the lid just keeps transferring. So they can't, so they continually not stuff it up. And then with cellulose, it just depends on how crazy they are. I do 3 times 3 of these, I go 1 times 3. So 1 in the morning, 1 at lunchtime-ish, and 1 before bed. What I used to do, to be honest, is have 1 in the morning, get home from work, have 1 straight away with the rest of my tabs, because I always forgot my tablet box. I was shotgun. And then 1 just before I went to bed. But that's how I've always had my tabs, kind of. like first thing, right on the last thing, so like right before bed, and somewhere in the middle of the day. And that's what we do. I didn't really do the product training on these ones. So this is a water balancer. It's called Cellulose because it gets rid of centimeters and cellulite. Yeah, so if you've got anyone who says, I want to tone up, or I want to lose X from here, or whatever, this is going to tighten them up. Yeah, it's good for guys too. Active fiber is because most human beings do not get enough fiber in their diet at all. When you look at people's normal meals, they either skip breakfast or have a whole bunch of carbs. Most people have like a piece of toast, which is like white bread or something, and then have something for lunch that's nowhere near, doesn't have enough whole grains and stuff in their diet. So this just helps people hit their 25 to 30 grams of fiber every single day, fairly low in calories compared to eating a loaf of bread, and is apple flavored. You can have it if you're caffeine sensitive. You can actually have half a scoop in hot water at night. It's like an apple tea. Tastes really good. Gets things moving, and really good. Just to Quinton says, who's one of my amazing Herbalife members and has helped literally tens of thousands of people. Says this is a fat melter. So that's a quote from him. That's not my quote. That's his quote. So if you sue me, that's one thing. This is a fat-burning energy tea designed to lift your metabolism, and that's why it burns fat and gives you energy as well, and most of us have experienced that. Also found it really helped my immunity because it's super high in antioxidants as well, which naturally fight really nasty stuff that your body can create as well. And this is amazing for your digestive system. This aids weight management by 40%, which means helps you put on weight or lose weight because it actually helps you absorb your food. And the more food you absorb, the more you can use, and the more food you use and the quicker your result, the healthier your body. They're doing a lot of research in the gut health and digestive system now, but I think Herbalife's been on it for a very long time because it's kind of like the key. If you've got a healthy gut and a healthy digestive system and that's all working well, which this will do, your results will come so much easier. And your clients as well. That tastes good. If you put these together, it's a frozen Coke to say again. And I think that's about it, guys. Was there any questions on that? Obviously, to lose your shakes, if you're trying to put on weight, you'd be having 3 after a meal. I'm talking lean muscle. So you'd eat and then have a shake after. If you're trying to lose weight, you'd be having 2 smoothies. Some examples of some weight loss smoothies is we want to keep the calories low, is the concept. So I'd always have them water-based with ice. I'd always have probably half a handful of frozen berries. Wouldn't have things like banana in a weight loss smoothie because they're high in energy. Energy that doesn't get burnt equals fat. That's what fat is. It's energy from calories that have been stored because you haven't burned them off. So if you find yourself as a night eater, you've got to change that habit. You've got to find really low-calorie foods at night. I actually had that the other night because I didn't have mandarinella, and it's just as good. It's like a mango. You can't really taste the tea, but I might have put too much mango in there. But that's really nice as well. I don't know what you'd call it, though. It doesn't really taste like anything. It's just nice. We'll call that the Katie because you asked the question. Or the Jared, the Cater, because it's kind of like Katie. Cool. Any questions on that, guys? Pretty straightforward. Just wanted to give you guys a mix of some product training and how I set up clients. So remember, centimeters, weight, before pics. Centimeters and before pics are more important than weight for me. I always send them the starter kit, but that's up to you because I just want to set them up for success because I know that's the key. I follow up with them heaps in the first 2 weeks until they get sick of me, just to make sure that they're on track because that'll be the hardest time. That's like that's the adjustment time. They'll probably go through some type of cleanse where they feel pretty crappy because that's all if they're 25, they've spent probably 22 years pouring crap into their body, and it's just kind of be coming out in a short period of time. So it's like your toxins getting released. So make sure they're drinking heaps of water because it activates the program if they're not in a glow lean. Yeah. How do you deal with someone that doesn't eat breakfast because it makes them feel sick? Well, I say, can you drink it? And they say, well, yeah. I say, cool, have a smoothie. That's what I say, seriously. Yeah. I'll say, that if you want, just have a really water-based and have a real water-based shake. But it's called break fast because you're breaking the fast from overnight, so breakfast. And that's when your metabolism will start. So you can decide when you start burning fat, from when you wake up or from mid-afternoon. You can make the choice. One's going to burn more, which is the breakfast one. So they just got to find a way. But if it's because of the shake, then I'd be maybe trying them on the allergen-free shake, and just making sure they're making their shake yummy. It's really important that people have a good shake early. So make sure you set them up and tell them how to use this stuff. Otherwise, they'll put it with water, they'll stir it with a spoon or something. It'll be disgusting. You'll get a refund. Or just another canister that never gets used again, just sits in someone's cupboard and they tell you they've used it and they just don't want to order anymore. Jim Rohn says there's pennies in the sale and fortune in the follow-up. Meaning it's easier to keep a client than to get one. If you do your job and you go above and beyond with your follow-up. So guys, that's it. For you guys who are on Royalty Workshop, jump on. For you guys who aren't, qualify for that and then jump on next week. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. We'll come in with something else that's live and we'll have some fun and we'll learn some stuff and, we'll hopefully give you some skills where you can, enhance people's customer experience. Okay. See you guys.